everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing with you the Stamps of Life club set for the month of September, and it is the Polar Bears to Stamp. And it comes with this cute polar bear, and it has a present, a scarf that you can put on the polar bear, and some sentiments, warm wishes, and Christmas kisses. These are separate stamps. So if you wanted just to say warm wishes, you could say that. If you wanted to say warm wishes and Christmas wishes, you can say that as well. These are clear stamps and they are separate stamps, so you can put that together however you want to do that. You can also say just Merry Christmas or Let's Chill or a gift for you. And it's again this cute little polar bear just sitting down, adorable. Perfect for winter. You can use it, not necessarily if you don't celebrate Christmas, you don't have to use this for a Christmas set because you don't need to even use those Christmas sentiments. You can just make a winter card out of this. If you wanted to do a birthday, you can do that because it is there's a present here. So you could turn that into a nice birthday card. There's also an add-on set, and this add-on set has a couple of hats. There is a Santa hat. There's also just a winter cap, and then there is this other style present. So I love, actually this looks like a gift bag. So here we have the gift, and then this is the gift bag because you can see it has the handles here, and there's tissue paper coming out of it. I love that. And then I love the snowflake design right on top. And then the sentiments, you are very cool, chill out, Merry Christmas, I come bearing gifts, have a very good Christmas, and I love you very much. So I'm gonna make a card with these stamps today. And of course, there are the matching dies. So you have all of the dies to cut out. You have the shadow layer, as well as the layering piece, which if you wanted to paper piece, you can do that as well. If you didn't want to color, you can paper piece with that layering die. I'm starting out with some Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm gonna use this background die from the Slimline card die set, and I'm going to die cut it. Notice that I have the actual snowflake background dropped in to the outline large rectangular rectangle die, and I am going to die cut these on these Bristol Smooth cardstock. And this is the piece that I get from that die cut. We're going to do some ink blending on this. Now if you wanted to ink blend before you die cut, you could do that, and then you can die cut your ink blended piece of cardstock. But I'm going to do it differently, and I'm going to ink blend after I've done my die cutting. So I'm taking out my glass mat. I'm just going to add some purple tape underneath just to keep this in place, which I probably should have done the ink blending first because this purple tape is actually going to be putting, as you can actually see through the holes in the cardstock, but hopefully that'll be okay. I'm going to be using 4 colors of ink. So I have my Midnight, I have my Blueberry, I have Pool, and I have Ocean. And I think I'm gonna start with the lightest and work up to the darkest. Now when I'm envisioning my scene, so I have my snowflakes here. I'm also gonna be cutting out some little hillside borders. It's gonna be snow for the bottom. So I know that I'm gonna have probably about this much space that I do not need to worry about putting ink all the way at the bottom because I'm gonna cover this up with my hillside borders. So I would probably start about here with my lightest color and work all the way up to the top with my darkest color. So there is my fun background. You can see how pretty that is. For the actual card base, I am going to be using the Slimline die from the Stamps of Life to cut my white cardstock. And when that comes out of the die cut machine, you can see the score line that die gives. You're just gonna fold it at the score line, and now you have your Slimline card base. And notice how that is gonna layer right on top. And you can see that you have the white snowflakes right behind it. Now, if you wanted to take it a step further, you can take your layering die that comes with your Slimline set, and you can take a piece of white glitter paper and you can die cut this die to put as a layering die behind your snowflakes. You can see when that comes out of the die cut machine, it cuts a perfect rectangle. And it was the same rectangle die that I die cut around this piece, so it's the same exact size. So these two pieces will layer perfectly on top of each other. And look how pretty that will be when you look and see the glitter paper behind that ink blended paper. Isn't that beautiful? So that's what I'm going to go with. And I'm also going to take this same glitter paper and I'm going to die cut some hills, which is going to be my snowy hills for the bottom of my card. I'm going to use my border die. It looks like this, just like a wave. And I am going to die cut. Let's make sure this is wide enough. You need a piece that's wide enough, the same size or longer than this rectangle. So I'm going to use it this way, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut 2 hills. So I'm going to start with, I actually die cut 3 times. I die cut this one, and then this piece, and then this piece was just the extra that came from, you know, the end of the die cut. So I actually have 4 die cuts here. So I think I might use at least 3 of them. I'm going to set them aside, and I'm going to go ahead and work on my polar bear. And then when I'm ready to decorate my card, we'll figure out how many I'm going to put on there. So let's go ahead and set these aside for now. And we're going to do some coloring. So I stamped my image onto some Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth cardstock with my Spectrum Noir Finesse alcohol proof ink in the Finesse black color, and I'm going to be using my Copic markers to color this up. And I do start with my C4, which is my darkest color, and I just outline the edges of the polar bear. And then I'm going to come in with my C2 marker and just go over that C4, but push that marker out, or push that ink out into the white area. And I'm going to do that for the entire edge of that bear. So that's just going to blend my C4 into my C2 into that white cardstock. And then I'm going to come in with my C00, and again, I'm just coming over that ink that I put down and just blending that out some more. So really I'm starting with my darkest shade and then going to my medium into my light and doing that around the entire bear. So the polar bear is supposed to be white, and in order to get that white look, I think by adding some cool gray colors to give him some shading gives him a nice look, and it makes that bear have a little bit more contrast. Then I'm coming in with my blender pen, which is the 0 Copic marker, and just blending all of those colors out into that white cardstock. So the whole bear is not going to be colored. There's just going to be some shadow around him. So notice that I did not color any of the middle of the body or around the face. Just giving it an outline around that bear's body provides that nice contrast. But I am coming in with some darker colors there for the bottom of his feet. I did do the C6, the C4, and the C2 for his feet. So I am coming in right around the nose, and I'm coming in with the C4 right around the outside edge, blending that in with the C2, and then blending that with the C00. Now I'm going to come in with my blues, and I'm going to start with my darkest blue, which is my B28, and I'm going to color up the presents with the blue. This card is going to be all blue and white, which I think is going to look really, really pretty. If you wanted to do different colors, of course you can do that as well. I think pink would be really nice to do, like a nice pink and white tone would be nice as well. But for these presents, my darkest is my B28. I do come in then with my B26 and B24, so that's gonna be my dark blue shades. So again, the B24 is the lightest, B26 is the mid-tone, and B28 is the dark. And then for the accents the top and the middle and the bow on this present, I'm going to come in with some lighter blues, and I have B12, B14, and B16. So in that group of 3 markers, the B12 is my lightest, the B14 is my mid-tone, and my B16 is my darkest shade. So I'm going to go ahead and color up the rest of these images. I will have a total of 3 presents, which I think I'm only going to be showing the coloring for 2 of them because one of them is identical to the one that you're looking at right now. And I'm also going to color up the scarf, and I'm going to color up the hat, and all of them are going to be in the same blue tones that you see here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to music and let you finish watching the coloring. So I have all my die cuts, and I went ahead and colored another one of the presents because I'm going to use 3. Now I'm going to start putting my card together. So I'm going to start off by layering these panels. So remember, the starry, snowy background is going to go on top of the glitter. You're going to need a strong glue because if you are using glitter paper, now you don't have to use the glitter paper. You can just use a solid white piece of cardstock. And that will be just fine too. But if you wanted to step it up a notch, yes, you are going to need to put the glitter paper. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and put some glue between all of these little circles and stars because I want this to adhere really, really well to this glitter paper. And remember, when you're adhering this, it's gonna line up perfectly because both of these panels were cut with the same die. Next, we're going to start positioning our snow borders where we want them on this panel. So depending on how many snowy hills you want to have, go ahead and lay them out. And I also want to lay it out with my presents because I want to make sure that everything is lined up evenly. I am going to be tucking the presents inside of the snow. So when I add the snow, I want to make sure that I'm not, actually I think that one might come on the outside of the snow. And then the next one will be inside. So I'm making sure when I put glue, I'm not going to put glue up at the top edge. All right, so I think that's how I want them. I am gonna add his little accessories to him. And then once I have everything where I want it, I'm going to have to take a pencil and just kind of outline. Let me remove him. And I'm just gonna mark here where I want this first hillside border. And I'm gonna go ahead and add glue. This one is gonna be flat. So the very top one is going to be flat. I can put glue all the way up at the top. Nothing will be tucked behind it. All right, so let me just mark that one. And then this one, I'm not gonna put glue all the way up at the edge. So I can tuck something behind. Okay, same thing with this one. We're not gonna put glue all the way up at the top. And same thing with this one. Make sure you get glue all the way at the bottom, but at the top, leave a little bit of space there. This will need to be flush with the bottom. Depending on how short your piece is, it will need to be flush with the bottom. If it's a longer piece, mine is very tiny, but if it's a longer piece, it can extend off the bottom and then you can just cut the excess off. Now I'm just gonna flip this panel over and I'm gonna trim away the part that hangs over. All right, so now let's go ahead and just start positioning everything once again. This bear is not gonna go behind that last one. I wanna have that snowy hill behind him. So he's gonna actually sit inside of this third one from the, or actually second one from the top, so you can see some of the snow behind him. And he's just gonna be centered on there. Okay, and I switched this up because I did have it this way with this one here, but notice how it interferes with that scarf. So if I move this so that it's over here, and then just switch all the sides, and that should be fine. All right, so let's go ahead and start gluing everything down. Next, I just stamped out my sentiment, a gift for you, on some white cardstock, and I'm just gonna cut this down. And I'm just gonna add some blueberry ink just around the edges. And I'm gonna use one of these chipboard snowflakes that I have in my stash. And I'm going to add that right to the top of the snowflake. So I think what I'll do, rather than putting glue, well, I guess I can put glue on the entire thing. It will dry clear, so whatever parts of the chipboard it doesn't hit, it'll be fine. Just put glue on the back and then add that to the center. And that is gonna go right there at the top corner of my card. But before I put that on there, I'm gonna add some glitter to this. So what I'm gonna do is just put some glue on the top of this, where the chipboard is, just where the chipboard is exposed. And I only want to do this after I add the sentiment because I don't need to add glitter to the entire piece of chipboard. It might be harder for that glitter to adhere to the cardstock if I do it to the whole thing. And then this will be added to the top corner. I'm gonna use my art glitter glue and just put some glue on here. And then the last thing that we need to do is just add this to our card base. And that completes this card. Oh my gosh, I just love how this turned out. So I will link all of the products down below in my blog. So go down to the description box, you'll see a link to my blog, and you can hop on over there and see the products that I used. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. So leave me a comment and let me know what you guys think. When you open it up, you can always put another sentiment or just write your message inside. But look at all that glitter, how pretty that is. All right, well, thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.